Hi, Christina?
Hi.
Okay, now do you like to be called Christina or do you like a nickname?
You can go ahead and call me Chrissy.
All right, Chrissy. Well, my name is Michelle Howard and I'm the social worker at Rochester General Hospital. Now, before we get started and we talk about what brought you in today, I'm going to have you sit down and we're going to talk about confidentiality.
Okay.
All right. So this form right here details our policies as far as confidentiality. What this states here is that basically we will be discussing your protected health information today. Now, I cannot disclose any of this information without your prior agreement. So what this states is that whatever is discussed is between you and I, and that should any referrals or any exchange of information be necessary, I will require your information.
Okay.
And your approval, of course. And this states that this policy is in effect for 3 years, and that you may revoke it at any time.
Okay.
So if you would like to continue, I'll just have you sign at the bottom. All right, so what brings you here today?
So, I went for my mammogram.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, they normally send you a letter with the clean bill of health.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they called me and want me to come in. And I mean, I've done this twice before. My mom had breast cancer, my sister had breast cancer. This is the same thing they do when they told them that they had breast cancer. And what if I have it? I don't know what to do.
Okay. So it sounds like you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I want to remind you again that the tests have not come back yet. But of course, now I want to ask you first, has there been any family history of this?
Well, yeah, my mom and my sister, they got diagnosed, but they both survived.
Okay. So, being that there's a family history, it's true that there's a higher likelihood of you having it. Now, of course, this doesn't mean anything until we get the diagnosis, but I understand that this would be a very confusing and overwhelming time for you.
I just feel like I know. They did the same thing with my mom and my sister. I know, and I don't know what to do, and I don't know how to go about it. How do I put my family through this again? And I got kids, and I'm all my kids have, and you know, I'm gonna have to go through chemo, and I'm gonna have to not work, and then I'm gonna lose my house, and my money, and my food, and my kids, and I can't lose it all.
Now, this is a lot to worry about, and I understand that there's a lot on your plate. But there are plenty of government assistance programs in place for you to apply to that may help you out with this situation. Now, in the event that you do need assistance as far as financial aid or even as far as food assistance or the like, there are certain programs, like I said, for example, Social Security Disability, which may be of assistance to you if you can't work as much as you'd like to be due to treatment or for whatever reason, as far as a medical disability. We can help you apply for that. And now there are also other programs such as food stamps or SNAP benefits that you may have heard of, which if you qualify will give you assistance as far as food and the necessary nourishment as far as keeping your family and yourself fed. And even further, if you're worried about housing, there are opportunities as far as Section 8 where we can look into some assistance there as well.
I mean, that sounds all really good, and it'll definitely help, but what do I do with my kids? I mean, I have to put them through this, and they have to learn that their mom's got breast cancer, and then I have to take them with me when I go for chemo, and I don't want to have them see me like that, and what if something happens to me? What happens to them?
Of course, and that's very scary. And I understand that this is very difficult, especially for a child to go through. But there are programs, like I said, for example, Gilda's Club, which assists individuals, such as children within families who have perhaps a parent or a family member that's going through cancer. And these programs help children get through this, as it is a very difficult event. So we could always look into programs such as that if they're comfortable with it, and if you're comfortable with it. And if not, there are plenty of daycare programs available. And for such, Rochester General Hospital does offer a daycare center for parents who need to have their children somewhere while they're receiving treatment. I'm sorry.
And then, I don't know, my family is very supportive, but in the, we can beat this type of way, and what if that's not the case? What if I can't beat this? How do I put my family through this for a third time?
Of course. And that's a lot for any family to go through. What we can do is, I know this is a difficult thing for you, so we could always set you up with some counseling services for just yourself to help you work through this. And then as an additional procedure, we could set your family up with some group counseling. So that way your whole family is getting some assistance in making it through this difficult time.
And then I just, what if I die? What's gonna happen to my kids if I die? My parents won't listen to me if I say, hey, I might die, I want my kids to be taken care of by you. They're not gonna hear me. I just wanna make sure my kids are taken care of when I leave.
Right. And I want to remind you that, again, we do not have a diagnosis yet, but at the same time, it is a legitimate concern. So what we could do, along with the family and group counseling, and also the additional singular counseling for you, we could link you to some legal services, which might assist you in helping finding the next step as far as guardianship or any kind of situation for your children.
Yeah. And I mean, this is gonna sound kind of lame, but I'm gonna lose my hair. I mean, it's bad enough that I'm gonna have breast cancer and I'm gonna have chemo and I'm gonna lose the ability to work and to be strong, and I'm gonna lose my hair. I'm gonna lose everything.
And it's totally understandable for you to feel this way. A lot of women may feel that way when they're losing their hair. It's an important thing for a woman. There are programs, like I said, in place that will help you with this as well. For example, Locks for Love. They donate hair for women who are going through breast cancer to make wigs at a good cost for you. So that way you have a sense of normalcy as far as your image.
I don't know how I'm gonna do this. I feel just so alone.
Right. And then what comes into place is that we do have support groups for you. Now these support groups listed here will link you to individuals who are also going through similar situations. What it has here is just any groups that you would like to attend, and so that way you can get in touch with these people and talk to them, so that way you have a way to get through this and know that you have support. So I'll let you take that home with you today.
I don't know, I'm so overwhelmed and I'm so scared and I'm nervous.
And that's completely understandable, especially because, like you said, this is a lot. There's a lot to take in, there's a lot to deal with. But again, you have supports. There are plenty of places that you can go where you can get assistance with whatever you may need.
So I'm also just really nervous about being able to afford medical treatment. I mean, chemo's a lot and I'm not gonna be working. I don't know how I'm gonna afford it all.
And of course, along with what we talked about as far as financial aid, we do have specific financial aid for treatment. Now this brochure over here lists out what we have as far as options for financial aid in these services. So I'm gonna let you take that home with you today.
Okay.
So how are you feeling?
I'm feeling a little more prepared. I'm still very anxious about getting the diagnosis, but I feel like once I get the diagnosis, I have a step in the right direction.
All right. Now, going forward, you could always set up another appointment with me and we can continue to discuss these options, and I can assist you in filling out whatever paperwork necessary, okay?
I would really like that.
Okay, and what we can do is I can even walk you out and we can schedule an appointment with the secretary.
Okay.
All right, perfect. Now, Chrissy, it was very nice to meet you, and I hope everything goes well.
Thank you.
All right, so I'll just show you out and we'll schedule that appointment, okay?